Welcome to Are We the Only Ones? I'm Kathy, and today I want to talk about Summer House. Okay, for those that you don't know, Summer House is a show on Bravo, and why it is a particularly good show is because over, I want to say 10 seasons, I can't remember how many seasons they have, 12 seasons. They have had multiple opportunities where housemates who share a Hamptons house and they normally live in New York, when there have been like social issues that have come up about race or other sensitive topics, Kyle Cook, who is basically the de facto patriarch, is sort of like the house dad in a way of the group. He's the one that started the show. He was sort of the one that had the reputation in the Hamptons for bringing speakers to parties. And so that's how the show basically started. He got married to a girl named Amanda Batula, and they had been together for 10 years, married for 4. And Kyle was great because whenever there were social issues that were brought to the table in the house, he was always really good at saying thank you for sharing and sort of like setting the tone so that the house would be inclusive and empathetic. So cut to him and his wife are having problems because he started a drink company called Loverboy, and she did the creative direction for that drink company. They didn't have a prenup, so there wasn't an equity conversation. They eventually had hashed out an equity conversation where she would get some equity for all of her branding and creative direction for the brand, which she deserved because she did a good job doing all that work. She eventually got offered a swimsuit line because she had said, I think, in a reunion or one of the shows that she'd wanted to do a swimsuit line. And because she was on Bravo, a swimsuit manufacturing private label company reached out to her and asked to do a collaboration. So then she launched, I think, primarily a bikini line because she has large boobs. So part of the design process was making bikinis that women with large boobs could look good and feel comfortable in. And I am a former fashion designer, I designed a jacket for Stevie Wonder. He wore to Obama's first White House Correspondents' Dinner and also launched my own label under my own name. So I know a lot about fashion and how hard it is to launch a fashion line and how cool it is to be able to get a collaboration deal like Amanda did. So I was really rooting for her. What ended up happening was there was another set of castmates in the house, one that is named Ciara, who was a COVID nurse and also a model, working model, not like fake model that like says they're a model, but like actually like signed, works, books, does great print work. And she's doing really well doing influencing brands and stuff like that. And she had just done like a hosting gig for the Oscars, as well as I think for red carpet for the Your Friends and Neighbors A24 season 3 premiere party. So all of this timing happened like kind of like interestingly because Ciara was in a relationship with one of the housemates named West. West is kind of like a non-committal, not unattractive, but not in the league of Ciara. And Ciara is like way out of his league. So if you're going to say Ciara's a 10, then you'd have to say like West is somewhere like a 7. So plus more than being beautiful, she's got a lot of depth to her. And there's a lot of underlying things about race that come into play that maybe the other castmates that are white didn't understand. But at the same time, I will say that some of the things that happened to Lexi with Jesse are similar to sort of like what happened with Ciara, which is like these guys want to experience these beautiful girls and they'll not lie, but they like, it's not like they don't have the intention to do the things the girls want, but the girls are like, I want to commit. I'm not like giving away my body. They was like, no, yeah, I want to commit too. And then when they get to home base, they basically start to lose interest. And I don't think they plan to lose interest, these guys. I just think that it starts to happen because their intentions were not really to like make a long term relationship. And that hurts the girls. And because these girls are now their friends too, and their roommates. And it's like, you should have a little bit more respect and compassion and sympathy for my feelings kind of vibe. So what ends up happening is like for about 2 years, Wes and Sierra have a very difficult relationship in the house because of the fact that they don't work out. And they had a really deep relationship where like they met each other's families and parents and stuff like that. And so like that means it was deeper than just like a surface level relationship. And Sierra had really serious feelings and it was made known and everybody understood that. So Kyle and Amanda start having problems in this last season. And at some point, Amanda and Wes start like confiding in each other. And you start to see little bits of it on the show. And I've been married for 23 years, been together for 27. And there are definitely moments where I was like, that's a little familiar for someone who's not your husband. And also there's moments where like Wes goes in to sort of mediate between Amanda and Kyle where they're fighting. But like he's in the bedroom. It's like the marital bedroom of the house. And he's like telling Kyle things that he would only know if Amanda had been like having deep conversations with him, which to me as a married woman, I was like, yo, that's kind of inappropriate. Like that's your husband. Why does this guy know more about the situation than your husband? And why does he feel comfortable enough to go and speak on your behalf in the bedroom after hours? That to me was like a little too familiar, extra over the line a little bit. But then I was like, okay, you know, it's when you're living in a house like that and you're filming, it's high intensity. Like I've been on sets with, people for like a week, had like a week booking. And like on New Year's Eve, if you watch the movie, you'll see me in there. And we were intense, but like I can imagine 6 weeks or like a whole summer. That's really, really intense. And you would get to know each other really well. So I can understand how you feel accelerated intimacy from a friendship level. But I also feel like that was very much an emotional affair that was occurring that I could tell. And I'm glad that they clarified that that's exactly what it feels like it was before any actual like physical touch occurred. Right. But there are definitely moments where like everybody's looking back on Amanda with like new eyes. And I remember all these moments that people are highlighting now when I was watching in real time going, yo, why did she say that? Because I tend to always clock when someone says something that's like not nice, even if it's plausible deniability, not nice. I clock it. I'll move on, but I'll clock it. And so when I clocked all those, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. So again, fresh eyes watching it again was interesting. I just came back from Las Vegas for Easter weekend. And I noticed on Bravo, they were like playing it back to back. So the good thing was I'm in my suite that was comped from stay at the Cosmopolitan first and the Palm second. And it was nice to be able to watch Bravo back to back to back in my suite and to like not feel the need to go downstairs and gamble. So thank you to Summer House for that. I will say that I'm super stoked that Rihanna has decided to basically be Ciara's fairy godmother and hook her up with an A-list actor, A-list African-American actor. I was saying basically that I had voted for Michael B. Jordan for SAG, and I'm hoping that that's who Rihanna is talking about because that's the only person that's good enough for Ciara, right? Oh, sorry, because I didn't clarify. Wes and Ciara started that intimate relationship. She was really serious. It didn't work out. Then Amanda and West obviously got kind of close. And then what the news that broke over the weekend was that Amanda and West have confirmed that they're in a relationship. I think most of you know that, but in case you didn't, I'm letting you know, I'm keeping you abreast of the situation to fill you in for this. So the reason why it's a betrayal is because Sarah had been confiding in Amanda. And through the series, Amanda sort of became like the voice of reason and was sort of like standing up for Sarah too. So the betrayal is also that's a really good friend. And you knew how much it broke my heart that it didn't work out. And then you were also just married. And this is like a bro code thing too. And West had just gotten upset with Jesse, who was in the house with them because he had asked for permission to possibly make a move on Sierra. And there's this whole like bro code violation on that. And this is like Kyle's wife because they're still technically married, right? So yeah, so that's what's going on with Summer House. And this is the interesting thing about the situation is I feel like in this case, Kyle is going to be like Paige and Amanda's going to be like Craig. So I am glad for Kyle because I did track a lot. I was like, why is she being so mean to her husband? Why is she talking behind his back and like making him feel bad? And like, why is she letting him run off crying and not chasing after him? Because that's like your husband. Like I never could understand that because as being a married woman, and my husband and I have supported each other through our careers. First, I supported my husband while he was in the military and I had to do a lot of stuff and then give up a lot of stuff. And then when we were done with the military life, he put my career first. So I got to do a lot of fashion in New York. And now I put my career, I retired early, started raising our family, and then he decided to chase his dream and go into law. And he's been very successful in that. So we took turns. So the whole concept of, oh, Kyle got mad because I wanted to launch a swimsuit line and therefore he started a DJ career. I was kind of like, I also know a lot of DJs because that was my scene. I've also I've given a suit to Diplo and met him. And I even have a photograph where he is holding up a handmade sign that says, I love Kathy Wilson Atelier. And I have a lot of friends that are DJs too that are like successful. So I understand that DJ life and how hard it is. And if Kyle's making money DJing, it's actually like a legit career. And I don't know why she wouldn't support that if it was going to help. So like, and if she's not actively doing anything with her swimsuit line, or if it's not I don't understand why she wouldn't want him to do the DJ career. I understand that he's out late and everything, but like, there's also like, you met him like this. That's how he started the show. You joined the show after he started the show. And now you don't want him to do the things that make him successful on the show. It's also his personality. There's a lot of things where I was like, I don't understand what she like the way that the edit had worked. And I've been on a reality show and I know that you can get an edit. You could be a good person and get a bad edit, and you can be a bad person and get a good edit. And also full disclosure, just to remind everybody, Jax Taylor, who's on Vanderpump Rules on the OG cast, was my menswear model for my clothing line. And so I know him and I understand also the different edits and I've seen what has happened to him. And so it's important that, you know, we look at this situation with Summer House and recognize how we were all as an audience being sort of like told to not like Kyle. Even though I'm like, what? And anybody that could see like, what the hell's going on with this? Like, he's actually trying to be a good husband. Like, it does suck that he's out late and it does suck that he did cheat on her. But like, she decided to still stay with him after the fact, puts herself through this torment, but she doesn't go with him to these gigs and just like support in that way, even though it would behoove her and benefit her to do that. Because then she could also pitch merch. She could also turn it into opportunities for herself. And the fact that she never like did that just showed me that she's not an ambitious person. And she might be somebody who's always like a codependent, like someone with talent, but maybe like needs to have a boss, like can't be her own boss and doesn't lead her own things. Like she needs to like fit into a role and do it. And that's fine. But this would explain why she then attached herself to West. And I just don't understand why you would do that, because West is, I think they were asking today or whatever. I sent in a question to Bravo about the reunion. And I said, like, you know, as a former fashion designer, I was rooting for her. And I'm just curious to know, like, how does it feel to fumble a multi-million-dollar bag for a doppelganger of your husband? And if you don't know what doppelganger is, it's Gen Alpha for a Temu doppelganger. Does that make sense? So it's basically like a not as good version of somebody that you're seeing. Okay. So and I'm not saying this like to get on her case in a negative way, because I also understand what it feels like to like be sad and have like dark thoughts sometimes. But I'm also like, you have to face up to this. And it's you're a normal person, and that means you're a good person if you feel bad about it, because you should feel bad about it. But it's not that serious. It is serious enough that you do have to like face the fire because you did do this thing. But survive and thrive. but take responsibility for the fact that you did do this and you didn't have to do this. And it was not a good financial decision. It was on all these different levels. Like, my only thing is, I can empathize that perhaps she thought that the equity of love and support from the public was strong enough for her and Wes so that they could actually do this and get away with it. And I feel like that was a very, like, like Meghan Markle, Prince Harry to the royal family kind of vibe, like so beloved and stuff, everything when you're attached, but if you pull yourself away and you turn on, it changes the entire dynamic. And the public is not necessarily like, it's in the duty of hanging in there. It's in the dignity of you having stayed together, being like a little bit bickery, but like as long as you love each other, that's cute. Kind of like the Obamas when they like say they don't like, when Michelle Obama says she didn't like President Obama for like 10 years. That's cute because they're staying together. If they broke up after that, then you'd be like, oh, that's not cute anymore. See, so it's the same concept. So I'm thrilled for Kyle to be able to sort of get validated that he wasn't like the bad guy. Because even afterwards, he was saying, like, when they were asking him, what if this ends up being true? And he's like, there's no way this is true. But if it is, I guess I'd have to say yay and like ship it. But like, there's no way. And then they confirmed it. That showed you the true version of Kyle, is that he's actually a good dude. And then Amanda, in subsequent photos, seeing Kyle and like going to walk their dog, she's wearing all of West's clothes. I was like, I told my husband that, and my husband was driving home from Vegas, and his mouth dropped like, what, dude? And so, it's this is when reality TV is really good, because it helps the public see how you should actually behave. And in this case, it feels like people that are good get rewarded. And that's what you want to see in the world, not bad behavior being rewarded. So cheers to Bravo. Cheers to Summer House for being able to have like a moment, like a teachable moment that they're putting on all of us. I think it's better than the Vanderpump Rules scandal because, Tom Sandoval did cheat, and that was really brutal. That 9-month cheating stint was brutal. But even then, I was sort of like, I hope they stay together, because it's like, if you're going to do this, you better stay together. Otherwise, you did all that for nothing. And that's like the worst case scenario. So look, there are lessons to be learned here. I wish all the best for everybody on the cast. Sierra's going to do great. She deserves to do great after this. That ship lands exactly how it should fall. Same for Kyle. And Weston and Amanda, look, I don't think you're horrible, bad people. I don't think people should like get really like cancel them. But I do feel like there is a penance to be paid, and reconciliation and contrition. And that's okay. Live and learn, pay your dues, apologize, take accountability. You will live to fight another day. If Kanye can make it back, so can you. Okay. You were beloved once. Just try to stay away from moving like this anymore, because it's brutal. It's brutal. People looked up to you. You guys were looking like really good friends to people. You were setting examples of how to support people, and then you just pull the rug on everybody. And I think that's one of the like weird plot twists that makes reality TV great, is that like you can't script it to feel as powerful as it does in reality TV when someone gets betrayed and the whole audience has believed in whoever that person is to not be that way. So the big lesson here is that people love loyalty. People don't like a bad actor. And even if you think it's true love, loyalties and having integrity in the way that you move when it comes to love is extremely important in society. And that, I think, is a good lesson to learn and to maintain. And that should give us hope. That's a good thing. We want that, right? All right. Let me know if you have any insights. Have you experienced something like this? Do you think that it's not a big deal? Tell me what you think. Okay? Give me a like, subscribe, follow, Substack, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Are We the Only Ones Pod? And you can find me on my main Instagram page, Kathy Tran Wilson. All right. Until next time.